So, we are back. I'm getting on my soapbox. Raw. So, Raw did better. Actually, quite better. They got 1.5 million instead of 1.465. And it was a 0.48 demo instead of a 0.41. So, up on both. The main event was great. Gunther and Tommaso Ciampa had a very good match for the Intercontinental Champion. Built very well. This secondary champion feels so important in this context. It's awesome. Drew McIntyre doing a pseudo heel very slowly. Him doing more heelish things. Ooh, chef's kiss. Perfect. He needed that so bad. He was so bland as a babyface, and now we're going to see diversity. Fantastic. Seth freaking Rollins had a good promo, but and then obviously with Becky Lynch's injury, Tegan Nox faced Chelsea Green. I was tempted to show that match because it was bad, but I think I chose a better one. And also, Nia Jackson and Shayna Baszler, they didn't wrestle. They had a brawl, and that was exactly what had to be done there. They needed high energy to start the show, and they did it with that. Other than that, not really anything else going on. NXT, good Lord. There were 3 main roster people on the show, and they just destroyed. It was 857,000 instead of 636,000. It was a 0.22 instead of a 0.18. They destroyed their last rating, like by a long shot. Trick Williams, the unfortunate situation regarding Trick Williams and the North American champion. He lost the title to Dominic Mysterio. Why give Trick the title in the first place if he was just going to drop it? I think they did this because they wanted to test the waters with Trick Williams, possibly a main event program.
Right.
Trick is awesome. He is very good. I think he needed a reign, though. And because they did the whole mommy was pissed off at Dom Dom way too quick. They booked themselves into a corner. It happens. But I think Trick will be okay. He is very popular.
I think it was just testing the waters. Kind of seeing what, because there might be some merchandise that they want to test out and pull through.
Indy Hartwell is back on NXT, which I think is the correct choice. She was literally doing nothing on Raw, but she also, I think, sprained her ankle before she even debuted. So what the hell? How the hell can you do that? The NXT Women's Breakout Tournament started tonight. It was fine, but remember, these are rookies. But there were a lot of women's matches. The Ilya Dragunov segment was very good, but that's Ilya Dragunov for you. Becky Lynch was great, too. It was Becky Lynch, Butch, who was in a tag match, and then Dominic Mysterio. Those were the only 3, and they did this number. So, let's get into Dynamite. Dynamite did 800,000 people. They lost 55,000 people over the course of the week, and then it was a 0.28 demo. This was not only Edge, I'm going to say Edge. I've known him as Edge.
You're going to say Edge for a while, but then it was Adam Copeland's debut on Dynamite. It wasn't even head-to-head. This was a Wednesday show.
And people are making all of these excuses why NXT absolutely destroyed. People, this is not the head-to-head. This is not John Cena, Paul Heyman, Undertaker, Becky Lynch. This is not them yet. This was still 3 people who were been on NXT consistently. And this is not only after Adam Copeland's debut in AEW and his first show on Dynamite, but this was post-Wrestle Dream. That was the other thing. They usually gain viewers post any pay-per-view, and they didn't. They lost people. You can blame DVR all you want. You can blame, there was this issue, and TBS confirmed there was an issue. Tony Khan literally made excuses. This is bad. If you believe that AEW will do any better going head-to-head with legitimate stars, you are living in a dream world. This is the lowest rated Dynamite, I believe, ever. Oh my God! And the show was just straight bad. It wasn't straight bad. I actually liked this show more than NXT. There were 2 title matches. Timeless Tony Storm is freaking awesome. I love the gimmick. Once again, gimmicks sell, and they're good, and it's great. And then
because she also got trained in the system.
I don't think she was fully trained in the system. I think she was actually in Progress, and she did stuff in Stardom before. Or in Shimmer too.
Right.
But
she got extensive training in the system.
Right. And Copeland and Christian had a very good back and forth. I really like the go fuck yourself and just walked off. Ooh, it was just great. But once again, keep in mind where they came from.
Right.
That's really all I have to say about this totally embarrassing Dynamite, because pretty much everything else was a nothing burger without the actual burger. Impact. Yeah, Impact. Yay, I got it right. Impact are creeping. They're creeping quick. 110,000 people watched it this last week, next to 106, and it was a .01. Those are really good numbers for Impact. Mm-hmm. Impact was getting they were hovering around 60 to 90 for a long time, and they're at 110.
Yeah, they're gaining, and I don't know if this is just because Bound for Glory is coming up soon, or what. But
the production stuff hasn't even happened yet.
But I think people are getting excited about it.
People are getting excited about it, and Impact is constant on bringing good stuff. The show wasn't bad. Mm-hmm. I've seen better Impacts. I liked the main event. Josh Alexander and Khan had a fun little match. Crazy Steve and Tommy Dreamer just blew me away. God, Dreamer might be enormous. He looks like he ate Tommy Dreamer, but he is so good at conveying emotion and cutting a promo. Oh my God, and Crazy Steve on top of that too. I cannot believe this guy is legally blind. No, he is. He is legally blind.
Crazy Steve?
Yeah. Huh. All he sees are like blobs and shadows. And he wrestles as he does.
Right.
That's incredible. This character, him literally stabbing Tommy Dreamer with a fork in the back was just awesome. It was great. Oh my God, the Crazy Steve needed this heel turn so bad, and I am all for it. There was a fans' revenge, nothing really there. And then there was like a multi-person match, nothing really there. Anyway, that was that. Let's go into SmackDown. SmackDown had 2.303 million last week and 8.6. Won't know the numbers until, obviously, tomorrow. The show was fine, to be honest with you. Jimmy Uso and LA Knight had a fun little main event match. Rey Mysterio and Bobby Lashley had a fun little match. It was a fun show, nothing memorable. Dragon Lee did a very good job with Austin Theory, and the women's match was there. That's really all I have to say. Oh, and then Collision. 327,000 people watched it last week. It was a .08 demo. I think that is actually worse than Rampage.
Yeah, and I also think, I think this week, it was like, it was in the 200s, I think, this week. I could be wrong.
Oh, my God, if it's 200s, that's just... the videos that are going around about the Bull is indicative of how this show is doing.
Yeah, and Tony Khan is very embarrassed by these things coming out. It's like, should be, because this is embarrassing.
You should be embarrassed. Yeah, absolutely. But instead of popping off on social media, how about you get a grip and
figure out the underlying issues for why your show is not doing well.
Yeah, and maybe bring in people who know what they're doing.
Right.
If these numbers continue this way, I'm sorry, AEW is going to be gone. And people are like, oh, this really boosted WWE to do better. No, they didn't.
I mean, at the beginning, I think there was a little bit of pressure.
Because they were getting a fucking million people watching it. Like 1.9 million, I think, was the average in 2019.
Yeah.
And now you guys are barely scratching at 800.
Right.
Barely.
Right.
That is.
And people, and I like the analogy that's being used, and it's like, I'm not trying to compete against a mosquito, but if one lands on me, you better bet that I'm going to slap it.
That's a great analogy. Wow, that is perfect. I couldn't have said anything better to encapsulate literally what this is.
Yeah.
AEW or Impact Wrestling is in their own little lane. They're doing better numbers than they have pretty much, in a long time. Mm-hmm. It's like they're not trying to compete anymore.
Right.
You don't compete with the big boy.
Right. You just don't.
Bellator doesn't compete with the UFC. They're in their own little lane, and they're doing just fine. NWA, I would rather go to an NWA show. I would rather go to a show that has 60 people in that building that want to be there instead of a half-empty bowl of nobody.
Right. Anyways, let's talk about Collision. It started early.
Adam Copeland had another segment. He talked again. And Eddie Kingston and Commander had a match. Eddie Kingston is getting enormous to the point of me being worried about his health. Tony Storm wrestled again. The Acclaimed defended the tag team champions, or the trios champions again. And Bryan Danielson faced Kyle Fletcher. And then obviously FTR got squashed by Big Bill and Ricky Starks for the tag team champions. Now, the trios champions were defended 3 times because it was also on the 0 Hour pre-show at Wrestle Dream.
Yep.
And then they were defended at Dynamite, and now they're defended here. That's 3 times in the course of a week. Let me tell you how you kill a belt prestige.
Right.
You do that.
Right.
Like, seriously. But that's really my soapbox. There's not really much else I have to say. I think I got it all out. Next week is going to be very interesting. Expect the Dynamite video to be out a little bit earlier than usual because obviously it's happening on Tuesday and I am not watching that live. So there you go. When we come back, Peanut Gallery, what are we talking about?
Well, we're going to discuss a little bit more about these battles going on with AEW, and well, we'll call it a battle, but we're going to talk about AEW trying to compete.
All right.